What's good? What's good? We are back. One and only Paul Masson, live from Fayettenam. And I'm really excited to bring on this next guest. Helen from the Bronx, New York, has one of the most unique voices in hip hop. Very gritty voice. Um, four solo projects under his belt. And some of y'all might know him as 9 or Nine. So let's bring him on, the one and only Nine. Nine, how you doing,
Peace.
man?
How you been, man? What's good?
Chilling. I was wondering if your voice was gonna be as gritty talking as it is in the songs.
No, well, not that, not as
Yeah,
that, not that crazy, but and especially in the '90s, we exaggerate. We was everything was a little exaggerated.
yeah. So I want to start with the voice. Like when you first started rapping, did you have the voice, or did you discover it later?
Well, I always had. I mean, it's my real voice.
Yeah, yeah. You
It's
just kind of
just
deepened it up.
no. It's there was I grew up in the '80s, like and we used to go to the park jams, and there was a song called Operation Radication. It's a
Okay,
reggae record. And I used to
okay.
sing that. I used to sing that song, and there was a part where the guy was like, "The Operation Radication, them effort
Oh
run,
yeah, yeah,
them effort run." When his voice just got real crazy in that spot. So, long story short, I got locked up, but it was nothing really serious. But while I was in there, dudes is rapping, and I was sing that song too. And there was a Jamaican dude there. I never saw him again in my life. And he said, "How come you not use that voice when you do your Yankee rap?" I said, "My Yankee rap?" He said, "Yeah, when you do the eradication, you get into it, you let it out. The eradication." He said, "When you do your Yankee rap, you're like, yeah, yeah, to the P, He's so, and he walked away. I never
that's
seen him again. I got out 6 months later. My voice started developing more.
yeah,
And I remember calling Flexes like, yo, because back then, man, you had to be original. You had to find something
yeah,
that was uniquely you. Unlike the opposite today, they want parakeets, which is why the musical is disposable. It's disposable music.
yeah,
So, but back then, in order to get someone to invest, quote unquote, invest in you, giving you a deal, and you had to be original. You had to have your own image, your own story, your own everything. So I told Flex, yo, I think I got something for myself, man. I'm a really enhance the voice and focus more on the deep parts of it. Because you
so
hear it when they talk. It was always there. So he was like, yo, let's try it. And we went to Jazzy J Studios. Salute to Jazzy J from Zulu Nation.
uh-huh.
And I recorded a song called Real Street Nigga.
Okay.
And it never
I don't
came
think I've
out.
ever heard that one.
Never came out, but Todd
Yeah.
Terry had heard it, the producer Todd Terry. So he requested me to be on the song. 9 Goes Bang is what he told me I could call it, but he had did the beat. And it was just like a dub plate type of song or something. It was no label. Because back then, if you wasn't on a label, it didn't
Mhm.
count. It didn't count. You had to be on some kind of record label, otherwise it wasn't real. So we put that record out, and then Flex did 6 Million Ways to Die. That was supposed to be an instrumental record. But I
Okay.
was I was at the studio along with Tragedy, Intelligent Hoodlum. Salute to him. He was on the original version. But he got taken off the song
Oh man.
due to some nonsense between the label or whatever. But I was
Yeah.
unsigned artist. Me and Flex was trying to get a deal together. We were a group at the time. So he said, "Yo, man, you need to get on this record." So I got on the record, and he took it to Nervous Record, whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they wanted to release it, but I never signed anything with anybody, so I was still a free agent. The plan was for me and him to get a deal as a duo, and so that's what really set me off. That record got on; it made it to Video Music Box.
You pretty much covered a couple of my first questions because I was going to ask you how did the flex situation come about? So you were already in a group with
Oh,
him.
we grew up. We didn't. Well, we
Yeah.
met each other. We were around 17, 16, 17. But
Okay.
it was on some DJ shit. I heard him DJing in this dude's basement that I knew, in a private house in the Bronx, and I'm like, he was catching this beat that's almost impossible to catch. You know,
Mhm.
he's back and forth. I'm like, yo, who is that? And he was like, yo, that's Junior. Because that's what we called him. I
Uh-huh.
said, oh, Rembrandt's DJ? Because he had a rapper of his own. I had met him before. I said, yo, tell him to come outside. And Flex came upstairs and I was like, yo, you remember me and whatever? And he said, yeah. I said, yo, I'm down with Chuck Chill Out now, you know, Bronxwood Productions, and we need a DJ for my group, Deuces Wild. So you come to the studio tomorrow. So Flex went straight from there, straight to the
Mhm.
studio, and we did a promo song for Chuck Chill Out as in the group that I was in. So that's how me and Flex met, and that's how ever since then it was we was moving together, you know.
Now, was there a talks of y'all signing with Nervous Wreck with the single?
Nah, he wasn't gonna allow. Flex was really smart. That what
Yeah.
ended up messing up our relationship because we back cool now. That's my brother. You know what I mean? I
Uh-huh.
talk to him constantly. That's my brother. But what caused the little division with us at the time was I was in a rush. I wanted this. I had been through personal stuff. I wasn't trying to, and he had already been in the business. Because remember, I was there the whole time. The Chuck Chill Out when we was carrying records for Chuck together.
Oh man.
You know, I was there when he got his first shot on the radio when Chuck didn't make it to the station, and a disc jockey named Jeff Fox was like, "Yo, you got your records? You got?" Flex was like, "Do I?" And Flex tore up Kiss FM, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" And they, you know, and then Chuck started putting him on the radio with him more and more. So Flex had seen a lot more than I had saw from the other side. So I wasn't really trying to listen. So when I took the profile deal, he wasn't happy. You know, that I did that, but he was doing his own thing. I could see where
Mhm.
we were divided. He was becoming a personality, where he is now. I saw
Yeah.
this for him, and the days of the rapper DJ rap group was over. There was no
It
more
definitely
Eric C. and
is.
Rakims. There was no more Casanova C and and the DJ's name. There was no more of that. There was no more. So he had to go. He found his place where he was, and I went and did my thing. So.
Well, how did the Profile Records opportunity come about?
Well, they was the only ones that wasn't scared to sign me
Okay.
because you gotta remember, Flex was walking around with the demo for a minute, to different places. Like we had Loud was interested
Oh
at the
man,
time.
Loud is yeah, that would have been a nice fit, I think
Yeah,
too.
my impatience made me like, me and Flex kind of yeah, we got into it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna just do my thing then, man. We young. I wasn't trying to hear what he was saying, and he didn't really know my financial status at the time, the position, what I was going through. I just got out of the streets, just was getting locked up and going through all this stupid knucklehead shit. So he didn't know my desperation. I just had a child, I had a son I had to take care of and stuff. So I was really trying to get paid quick and get this ball rolling. So when I took that deal, which was a gift and a curse because they were the worst label in the world, you know.
Now I
Just
saw where it said your stage name refers to your date of birth, your shoe size, and your lucky number. Is that true?
yeah. But it used to be non double M.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it still is basically, but the main reason I just shortened it was because of the song "What You Want." When I first got that beat, I didn't really like it. Like to be
you didn't
honest, like
like
I
it?
was I couldn't hear what it could be. I was
Wow.
I was like, because this is the era, like Wu Tang is out, niggas is coming,
Yeah,
everybody's beats is not. Listen though, beats is
yeah,
all crazy and stuff. So I'm like. I don't know, man, of what I could do. We already had to deal with Profile.
yeah,
So we was trying to find. He was like, I'm trying to find a single, man. We need a hit because we don't have the support. Bad boy, we don't have that support. He said we gotta have
yeah,
something that's out the gate. When it come on, it's so original, it's so different. It could survive amongst the monsters that were out there already. So when he gave it to me, I went home and I started digging it. I'm drinking, I started getting into it, but I'm still talking, cursing throughout the whole record. I'm like, I get fucked if
yeah.
I do, get fucked if I don't. What I'm saying,
Mhm.
and the
Uh,
hook was what you want, nigga. What I'm saying? So
yeah,
I go to his house all excited and shit, and I'm spitting the verses, and he's looking at me going, yo, what is wrong with you? He was like, can't you hear? He said, you got it. He said, but the language, what you, I was like, so what I'm gonna say? I get damned if I do, and damned if I. He said, yes, do shit like so. I changed it and
Yeah.
my name replaced what you want, nigga, so it wouldn't be what you want, 9 double M. That
Yeah.
wasn't gonna work. So it
What
was
you
what you
want
want,
nine. Yeah.
nine. So we went up to the label with it. I performed. I remember I spit it in the A&R's office. All I had was the cassette tape. And Special
Yeah.
Ed was sitting in the same room and saying, he was like, you mind? I was like, nah, I wanted Ed to hear, you know? So he put the beat on. I started spitting and they was like, it really put the ball rolling. They was like, yo, we got to
Yeah.
shoot the video. We got to get this done. We got to hurry up. We got to move. Because when they heard it, they kind of knew the same thing everyone else kind of knew, especially at that time, you know. It was
Well,
more free. There was no rules yet. You didn't have to
yeah.
follow any formulaic music. You could really basically step out and do original things.
I mean, the record peaked number 3 on the US rap charts, it said. I mean, what was the feeling like
Underneath,
at that
underneath,
time?
big underneath. Because I looked at the chart. I'll never forget that. Every time somebody say something, I'm like, y'all was number 3. You know what number 1 was? Biggie. You know what number 2 was? Craig
Biggie?
Mack.
What was it? Flavor in Your Ear?
And Craig Mack was Get Down, I
Oh, Get
think.
Down. Yeah. But Craig Mack was hot at that time.
But it was still a machine. The
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
that that machine was in full motion. You know what I mean?
So that was 2 bad boy artists literally at
I
1 and
had
2.
no budget behind me as far as that record did
Damn.
everything on its own. Really, I
Yeah.
had no. My video cost $15,000 at that time. That's dirt. You know, the dirt money. Videos was 200,000 plus. You know what I mean?
Damn.
My
I
shit
saw
was
where you had like a I guess a lawsuit against a Jeep company because they were using the song. What came
yeah.
about with that?
They contacted me before and said, "Yo, we want to sample you." That's KRS had did a track and he put steady bouncing in Jeeps on the New York streets, steady bouncing in the song. So he was like,
Yeah.
yo, y'all gonna have to I don't know what he did, how Chris moves. But when they contacted me, I said, well, nah, y'all can't sample me, but I'll come to a studio, you pay me and I'll say it over, I'll alter the line. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't want that, you to use the sample. I
Yeah.
didn't like the way it sounded because they sped it up. So it sounded
Mhm.
more steady bouncing in Jeeps. It sounded crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, I'm gonna come do it. So I went and did it, and they used the sample anyway, like I wasn't gonna know. So
That's
I got at
crazy.
them, again, and they tried to send me some measly money, like a little 5,000. I said, nah. By that time I had done a voice commercial for Burger King,
Okay.
and I made like, I shit you not, man, close to 50 G's
Damn.
off the
Was that a
residuals.
local was that a local or a national
It
commercial?
was a commercial. They had a commercial called BK for you or something. And this dude was going BK. He was singing. And I was
Yeah.
behind him going BK. He said, for you, for you. BK for you. That's
I'm
it.
a
That's all
damn,
I said.
50,000 for that.
No, not up front. They gave me
Yeah.
2 G's to do it, but I'm a member of ASCAP, so that's a
Oh,
commercial.
okay. So you got some royalties
It
off
was
of it.
on
Yeah.
TV, so the checks started coming in from the money from them. Oh my God, it was crazy. So I had
Damn.
already known what a commercial pays.
Yeah.
So when I went and got the lawyers and got involved, they pulled the commercial they pulled it off the
The
air.
Jeep joint. Yeah.
And the lawyer was telling me, oh, we're gonna be in court for 10 years with them. He said,
Damn.
you can't afford that. He said, they
Yeah.
took it down, no harm, no foul. You're gonna have a hard time with it too because you can't prove it damaged you in any way. Because nobody
Yeah.
knew it was you. So it was a
Yeah.
lot of, so they took it down and that was that.
So I gotta ask you about this song, man. Hit 'em like this. Like, what was going on when you came up with that song? Like, what was the thought process behind that, man?
Being different. It started off as a
Yeah.
joke. It started off as a
Yeah. It was
challenge.
definitely different, especially even at any time in hip hop. I never heard nothing like that at first.
It
You
was
did both
like,
voices, right?
yeah, it was a challenge. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, dude? So you can't, because I was joking around with it. Because, it was a place off Snoop's name. He was Snoop Doggy Dog. So it
Okay.
was like,
Okay.
it was a play off
Yeah.
his name. Joke. It was just something I would bug out. I would just
Yeah.
go to the studio sometime and I would just put on beats and I would go in the booth and just do a whole bunch of crazy shit and just wow, just trying stuff. Like I was never afraid to fail, so I would try a bunch of different stuff and then take it home so I could listen to it. It wasn't for nobody else. To me, this was me as an artist trying to, I'm painting my. You ain't supposed to see this painting yet, but I'm gonna try to paint it my way until I figure out how I want to paint it. You know what I mean? Our attitudes were different. I came up different in this. I came up with legends, old school hip hop dudes would tell you, you had to be original. You had to always try to think outside the box if you wanted to survive in this shit. So we ended up recording it, and we turned it in to see what they were saying. They was like, "Yo, who's the other guy, man? We want to sign him." Said they wanted to sign him, so I kept it going. I was like, "Well, nah, I'm gonna take him somewhere else." And so they never knew.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun record. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody knew. I used to go online and see people saying, "Yo, Nine is doing the Froggy Part 2." And this one dude said, "No, he's not. I know Frog. He was killed in North Carolina." And then I'm reading this shit crying. I'm like I'm not laughing my ass off. Whenever I go, I always go check the comments on that song because there's always some real funny shit. People saying they know him or they hung with him. Like
They say he got killed in North Carolina.
that's what one comment said. It was like, "Yo,
That's
he was
where I'm at
killed."
right now, North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
All right. Yeah, North Carolina used to be home for 90s hip hop until y'all got your own rappers, your own sound. Before that,
Well, we don't even really
everything.
got our own sound though. Still, like
Well, y'all got
North Carolina.
ain't the baby from there?
Yeah, and J. Cole and Little
Yeah,
Brother
and they
and
sound like New York niggas.
yeah, yeah. So we
No,
don't
no,
got
no
like
diss to
we don't
them.
got our own sound per se.
Okay, well, when the South emerged, when Atlanta and all that, they started getting booked there more. Like it was more
Yeah.
familiar, the accents more close, more relatable subjects that they were talking about.
Now, what can you tell us about Rob Lewis and Tony Stout? Like they was your early producers.
Well, I ain't got. My mama told me if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing.
Oh, so you don't
So
got nothing good to say? Okay, we
not
can move
about
on.
Rob Lewis
Okay.
or Tony Stark, really. You know,
All right, so let's get to this next question. Your second album, I feel like it was better than the first, in my
me
opinion.
too. The first
Yeah,
album was the album I that I had to make. The
yeah,
second album was the album I wanted to make. So you see
okay.
the difference. It was I had to make those songs that I did. I was on Profile Records, no backing, no nothing. We had to be intelligent. I had been around this game for a long time. Andre Harrell was my first manager when I was 14 years
Oh
old.
man,
I wrote with Jekyll and Hyde. I wrote some of the stuff on their album as a kid. I had Mr. Hyde at my house. I'm a child. You had to say hi to my mom and all of that. Make sure this is a grown man doing it in the house. You know what I mean?
that's
And he was like,
crazy.
I believe in him. He's gonna be so he could really write. That my thing was always I still can. It was I could write. My pen was just you know, it was noticed early by some people because DLB from the Fearless Four taught me how to count bars and structure a chorus when I was
Damn.
15 years old. My man Pumpkin, rest in peace, king of the beat. He made those songs, Pumpkin and the All Stars for Profile Records.
Okay.
He made Love Rap. He's the drummer. He played. He lived down the street from my partner who lived next door to Chuck Chill Out. So I grew up right there with these guys. I
Damn.
saw professionals early. Everybody I saw was a professional. They was in the industry. It wasn't just like a bunch of dudes from the neighborhood or something that was making music. I was being groomed by professionals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when he heard me, took me to DLB's house. He said, "Yo, this kid can rap. He won't stop bugging me, but he can't. He don't know how to count bars, and he don't know how to do this." And DLB took the time out, and I saw him, and at the 50th, we did a show. We did a show that he was on the same car with me at what was it, Charlie Mack's 50th 50 MCs live mixtape. It had 50 acts back to back, and it was in
Damn.
Atlantic City at a stadium. It was crazy. So I got to see DLB there and tell him, and he remembered everything. He was like, "That was you?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, that was me. I'm a little kid, and you taught me how to write hooks, how to structure, how to count bars, everything."
So I
You
want to
know,
ask you about a guy I interviewed on the show, which I feel like you got your biggest collab is with Tim, and that's Smooth the Hustler. It seems like y'all guys got a really good relationship.
Well, I mean, we did that song. I didn't know him, but he was on the label. He got
Okay. Oh
signed.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, got signed. So I had this hook. I wrote this hook, and I had this. And it was like when I heard his project, because I heard his album
yeah.
before. Of course, I heard it before it came out, so I was there.
Okay.
In the office, they was playing stuff, and I was like, "Yo, his voice
Yeah,
would be perfect for this." You think? Because I didn't
yeah.
even know him
Definitely.
before that. And they contacted him, and he came in and he knocked it out. You know what I mean? And so that's really the extent of it, though. Like we don't.
Okay, but you
You
also had him on the
know.
later album too, though, like the Snow Goons, right?
Oh yeah, well you know how that business
It,
works. They
yeah.
just go out and find features that I request a few, and we just trying to fill in the
Oh,
blanks.
okay.
With that album, we was just trying to, I was just trying to put something out, with Snow Goons, and they came with a decent plan, decent, offer for me to, and we sat down because we had tried to do it maybe in 2013, but
Mm,
my head was nowhere into trying to to do something like that, just because basically it's an overseas album.
yeah, yeah,
You
definitely.
know,
Now, on the second album, it felt like there was like some songs in there had like a medieval kind of feel.
yeah, the violins and the
Yeah,
dun, dun,
yeah,
dun, dun, yeah, was searching for a sound, at the same
yeah.
time. Searching for, because violins were very effective for me with What You Want, but we didn't want to do that again. You know what I mean? We didn't want to do that same
And
type of violin thing. So it was like, let's take it up so I can, really start talking some shit and showing pockets and lyrics. And, I wanted to, like I said, it was the album I wanted to make. And I'm
and
glad I did because they balance each other out. It's kept me alive for quite some time. I got the What You Want type of stuff.
yeah,
Then I got overseas. That Cloud Nine album is like it's gospel.
I can only imagine, man. I
It's
mean,
gospel,
there's a lot of really good records on there, and
And
all the
at that
singles are
time,
really dope.
profile was folding. We knew it was because Lion
Yeah,
King should have been I thought this is gonna blow their heads off,
yeah.
like Lion King, and I'm telling the truth, and I'm sure you know what I mean. And I predicted the future because everything I'm saying in that record is what happened.
Well, from what I've seen, they didn't do no promotion, but just maybe 2 videos,
No,
and it
no,
feel like they low budgeted the Lion King video
no, they
tremendously.
did, they did. They flew me to San Francisco. You wouldn't even know I was in San Francisco. We was in some cave but that was all the director. Rest in peace, Michael Lucero. He was kind of nuts. He was he was a nature dude, and nigga gave me peyote while I was out there, man. I almost lost my fucking mind. I was bugging. Never again. That's just you ever did that shit?
No.
Don't. Don't. Like you hallucinating and seeing shit.
Yeah.
Yo, I've never it was a wild experience, man.
That's like a Native American thing, right?
Yeah, man. It's woo.
So, your 3rd album was called Quinine. Is that like like that plan or something like that?
Quinine is what they cut the dope with. You remember in
Yeah.
Goodfellas when he said, "I got this is before." See, quinine is actually a healing agent.
Okay.
It comes from a plant. It was an inoculation for white people to survive in Africa. They had to get a shot in the
Oh, for
beginning.
real?
Mosquitoes is killing y'all.
So, it was like a vaccine kinda?
Yeah, quinine. You can look it up. So
And
remember in Goodfellas when he said, I gotta give this a whack of quinine." They used to cut cocaine with it.
I don't remember that part. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now.
He said, "I gotta give this a whack of quinine before I put Sandy on the plane with it." He was talking about the cocaine he had just purchased. But anyway, it's a healing agent. They switched it to lactose in the 80s when they started making crack. That's why people got all skinny and sucked up because Richard Pryor and these guys were getting high on coke since the 60s and they never looked like
Damn.
crackheads.
Yeah,
They never
yeah,
looked the part. And there's a
yeah.
reason why, because it was being cut with a healing agent. Once they cut it with lactose, it's a baby laxative. It dehydrates you, sucks you up. Next thing you know, you get that look, that crackhead look that we know today.
Damn, you learn something new every day, man.
Yeah, man.
Now, what can you tell us about that album?
The Quinine album?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was I was just coming out of what because I was basically kind of done with the way things was going after I got off of because see what happened with Profile is they sold the label to Arista.
Okay. Well, they
Now
ran out of money, right?
well, no, when they first sold the label to
Uh huh.
Arista, the dude, the A&R dude that was there, I can't remember who he was, but he was telling me like, "Yo, we really wanted you, we want Camp Low, and we want Smooth, so we're gonna
Okay.
make this happen." But then there was a lawsuit between Arista and Profile because Profile didn't include the Run DMC catalog in the deal. So we sat for 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, I went through all of that crap. I tried to get out of it. I had lawyers. There was clauses in the contract that you couldn't sue for release while the label was being sued or the label was involved in action or judgment. So 4 years of this crazy shit. So by the time we did get to Arista, none of the people worked there that was interested in us as artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they still wouldn't let me go. So what they did was they gave me a demo fund. They gave me maybe I want to say like 35, maybe 40,000. Told me to go make some songs. You know, I pocketed that shit and gave them some demos I had, and they told me that I sounded like DMX.
What?
Yeah,
But you were out before DMX.
yeah. Didn't
That's
matter.
crazy.
Didn't matter. He was 3 million albums in by then. He sold 3 million copies.
So, and I totally forgot Run DMC was on Profile, and that's crazy. So they tried to sell everything but the Run
But
DMC
the
catalog,
catalog.
which
So
not
Arista
that I
sued
could
them.
blame him, not that I could blame him, man. Like,
Yeah, but this was him. This was his way of destroying his artists and his people as well. I truly
yeah,
believe that. Steve Plotnicki's a piece of shit,
damn.
which is something, I'm not afraid to say it. And, I wouldn't want to run into him on an elevator. It wouldn't be good for him.
So I was listening to the King album yesterday,
All right.
and it's actually the first time I heard it. A really good album, man.
Thank you.
Um, like the features. I mean, you got Conway the Machine on there. I was shocked at that. I was like,
Yeah.
hell, he got Conway on it. You got
Yeah, I
Rusty
was a fan.
Jukes. Yeah,
I really liked the Griselda thing when they was moving, you know what I mean? Before, I still like it. I still
yeah,
but I thought I liked his story. I thought it was really dope. And he reminded me so much of someone who the first time we hear them, you know what I mean? Like the first time you hear Biggie, you knew. First time you heard Nas, you knew.
yeah, yeah.
He had that same thing. Because the first time you heard some people, you didn't know. Like I didn't know with Jay-Z the first time I heard him that it would turn into what it did. But you know,
You also had what? Rusty Jukes, Chris Rivers, Smooth the
yeah.
Hustler, and you had Cool G Rap. Have you been wanting to work for him with him for a while?
The wild shit is I'm down with him now.
Okay,
He's executive producing my project. I'm on his new album that's coming out on Rock Nation. It's called Crime Audio Book. It's an amazing album. He's on Rock
he's got an
Nation
album
now.
on Rock Nation coming.
He's on Rock Nation. I hope I'm not
Wow.
spoiling too much. I mean, I should have
Yeah,
asked him. Could
I was about to
I
say I don't know if that
no,
is.
no, it's he got
Yeah.
a ad for it up, and at the end of the
Okay.
ad it
Okay.
says Rock Nation. So I'm not
Okay.
giving anything away that he hasn't already. But we were. Funny thing is, I didn't really know him when he got on that album. They contacted him and said, "Yo," he said he'll do it. Will you do it? Like he knew who I was because I didn't know him really. I met him once or
Yeah.
twice, but I didn't know him. So what happened was I'm working with a producer named Nick Price who was actually producing on G Rap's album. This was years ago. And I said, "Yo, you think you could get a feature?" Because me and him we just putting music together. Because I'm definitely coming back out, so it was like it's gonna be right. I'm not
Yeah.
rushing. I don't have no desire to rush, and so we're there now though. But long story short, he got on the song and he heard me and he was like, "Yo, ask him if he'll hop on this joint with me." So I'm like, "Oh shit, all right, no doubt." So I jump on that record. Next thing you know, he contacts me and says, "Yo, let's click up, man. Wherever I go, you go down with me now. Let's move. I'm executive producer. Shit, I'm gonna get features. We're gonna help. We're gonna make this happen." He said he felt like of all the people he knew in the game, like I don't get any real, recognition or respect or credit. He wants to help me change that. He hears something different. So, it's the biggest alley oop I ever could have asked for. This is an icon. This ain't a legend. This dude is an icon. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if you know DV alias Christ, but I was on the phone with him the other day, and he was trying to like, yo, if you give me a list of cats you trying to interview, and I told him, man, like I've been trying to get in touch with this cat Nine, man. For some reason, I've been wanting to interview this Nine forever, man.
Right, right. Appreciate that.
Now, have you ever had any rap beefs?
No, no, no.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. Even with, I want to clear something up on here too. Like I used
Yeah.
to get tormented when
Uh huh.
DMX came out. Everywhere I went to the store. I'm with my wife. We're in IKEA. Somebody recognized me. Yo, Nine, what's up? Yo, you Nine, right? What's up? Next thing out their
Yeah.
mouth was, yo, that nigga DMX stole your style. He took your shit. I heard that so much to the point where when people would ask me, yo, you Nine? I used to be like, nah, nah. They said, yo, you look like him. I'm like, nah, it's not me. Because I didn't want to hear what was next, which was his name, DMX,
Yeah.
DMX, DMX. Now, I try to explain to people all of the time. I loved X.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
there similarities? Yeah. Do I think he borrowed some things here and there, manipulating the voice? Yeah, of course. He realized he could reach that octave and that octave level, and he did the same. That's hip hop. That's not, you know. But he had every attribute I don't have. Like X is important to this
Yeah.
culture. He was important to the culture. He was important to everyone. You know what I mean? His soul was pure. Like I have no dislike or was never, there was a time I was feeling away sometime. I had said something to him once when I ran into him, something slick, and he was like, yo, you think I took something? Come get it. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But all in
He's
all,
definitely a competitor.
we were totally different artists. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
way more lyrical, and that's not a shot, but I'm way more about bars and lyrics. X is not that. He's a totally
He was
different.
more like a storyteller kind of
X
guy.
was like a representative, man. To me, there's a
Yeah.
Earl Simmons in every single neighborhood you go to. You'll find, because I knew about 10 Earl Simmons. I'm just saying people with his attributes or his characteristic. You love him. You gotta watch yourself around him sometime. He speaks from the heart, so he might say something you don't like. Like there's always a guy like him but everybody got love for him. So I tell people all the time that's where the comparison stops at the sound of our voices. But other than that, I didn't have any of those attributes he had, which is why, he was able to, once he did that, it was very difficult for me to get a label behind me, which is why Arista was like, nah, we're gonna let you go.
But like y'all's voices, his is isn't as gritty as yours is though. Yours is like
There was
a
moments,
higher level of
but
gritty, and his
there
is
was
kind of like
moments. You don't
yeah.
remember? Y'all been eating long enough now. Stop
Oh
being
yeah,
greedy.
being greedy.
Keep it real, partner.
I tell
Get
my
into
dog
the
that
needy.
I tell my dog that all the time.
I sound like him
I
saying it
say
right
that
now,
every
right?
day. That line every day.
What? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's there. It's no accident or secret. It's
Fuck
just my
around, I'm
luck.
gonna bite you. Snatch the yeah.
It's just my luck that a dude that talented ended up being, what I mean, or with that much to offer to the culture. You know what I mean? But I have nothing, no, I don't care about things like that. To me, it always boils down to the music.
Well, he was the first like mainstream rapper, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to drop 2 albums in the first year.
Right, right.
I
And no
mean, that's
matter
how
what
you know
anybody
how hot he
says,
was.
I have credit for introducing that sound, that type of approach to the culture. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm a slick Rick in a way. I bought something that was never there before. You can't take that from me. You know what I mean? It's the truth. I bought something that was never there before. You know.
So what's next for you?
Well, I'm like I said, I'm doing this album right now. I got Funk Master Flex back in my corner. He's helping
Okay.
executive producers, so it's gonna be some. It's gonna be, I'm sitting on over 100 records. So, all
Okay.
we do is record. My partner, Nick Price, shout out to him, my DJ and producer. We work. He gives me, I just go over there, he puts something on, I take it home, I go back, I record it. Like we actually stopped because it was getting too redundant. So I'll take 3-month breaks, but I'm sitting on a lot of real. powerful records. I got features. I got a lot. I got G Rap on, of course. You know, so we're gonna introduce that. I'm on G Rap's album. There will be a video for the song that we did together, which is produced by Alchemist.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm gonna pop out the right way. I was like, if I'm gonna come back out, you know, a lot of people and my peers are all making music. We have to understand if we don't make this music, we're not gonna hear it. So I'm making shit because I want to hear. This is what I want to hear. I don't care about, you know, platinum stardom and watches and all that. I don't. Come on, man. We in our 50s. We don't care. We know how stupid
Yeah.
all of that. We know how stupid all of that shit is. We doing what we want to do, making money doing it, living comfortable, being happy, doing what you want to do with what's left of you. You know, especially last year this time, February, I had a stroke,
Oh
so
man. Sorry to hear that.
I know how quick shit could be. I couldn't talk, you know, at
Damn.
first. It took me like over 8 hours, like 6 hours later after I was in the hospital, I was able to speak. And so I was lucky I had no permanent damage, you know,
Yeah.
but I know what that, how quick and how easy my blood pressure was all twisted and not taking care of myself properly. So now I'm in the gym, I work out, I eat right. You know, it's a wake up call, but it also shows you how fragile life is in the demographic, the age group that we're in.
Yeah.
So you gotta go and just do what you love doing, man, until the lights go out. Hip hop is forever, you know.
Yeah, do you think that the hip hop 50th anniversary around that time, you think it kind of lit a fire under a lot of artists from like the 90s era?
Well, I think it got exposure
Yeah.
for a lot of dudes. The problem with that also is you got a lot of dudes that you know haven't developed their sound. Like I'm gonna be talking about a whole bunch of different shit this time. It's not gonna be the same. I'm not rhyming for
Yeah.
the sake of rhyming. This is gonna be grown man bars the way they should be said to these little niggas, to these motherfuckers out here. I'm gonna talk to them like they daddy. You know what I mean? I'm a spank rappers like they father. Like I'm disappointed in what you've done to my culture. I'm disappointed. You know, it's not all complaining and stuff, but I'm talking my shit, but in the right way.
Yeah.
I'm not a kid. I'm not talking about selling drugs because I don't sell drugs. I haven't sold. Even when I used to sell, drugs, I didn't talk about it when I got on because to me that was insane.
Yeah, I never heard you say nothing about it.
And I used to do it for real.
Yeah.
Never successful. If I made an album, it would be called the worst drug dealer ever. You know, I broke every rule in the Ten Commandments, crack commandments. So my song would be a little different. It would be like, you know, how not to be a drug dealer.
Now,
You
is there somebody like a producer or artist that you always want to work with that you still ain't worked with yet?
know? I mean, to be honest, man, it's about the song. Like
Okay.
if I hear something and I'm like, yo, you know who would be perfect? Who to me it has to make sense. It has to be, you know. But of course I would say I want to work with people that would scare me if that makes any sense. Like I would want to go in the booth with Jay-Z. I want to go in the booth with Jadakiss. I want to go in the booth with because it's scary to me. Because I know
Okay.
if I'm not A type, you're gonna get chewed. So I'm gonna try to rip their heads off. It's gonna bring something out of me that you know that I think that's the reason we used to do this was to get to a level where you could rap with someone who makes you aware that you have to be your best right now. You have to be at your best right now.
I've always said Jadakiss is like the ultimate feature because I mean he's
Yeah.
never gonna slack on a song. I don't care
And I
who's
would
on
love
the
to rap
song
with.
with
I
him.
would love to have a collab with him as well. But you know, everybody got Jada collab.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
he's turned into the. You need to save your project? Call Jada. It's
yeah,
like he should do a commercial, yo. You want to because that's what it looks like. Like you trying
yeah.
to eat off of his. No disrespect to anyone who has him on his songs and stuff, but I'm just saying he's on like a lot of records. You know what I mean?
Do you pay attention to like any of these things that go on in the hip hop, like the Kendrick Lamar, Drake beef,
Of
or
course. I mean, I'm hip hop 24/7. I mean, this is what you know, this is it's a sub religion basically at this point. That's been my whole life since I was 14, 55.
man? So it pretty much go the way you thought it would.
No, I didn't think it was gonna be a homicide. This is the biggest homicide we've ever seen. We've only seen five homicides in hip hop as far as
Yeah.
battling. Five times where people engaged and somebody died, like, and it fucked up their character, their persona, their record sales, their business, like just fucked up everything. It's only happened five times.
So I think I know two of them. What's the five
What do you
though?
think is your? Tell me what your two
I
is, and
know
I'll
one
say
of them has got to be 50 Cent Ja Rule, right?
yes, of course.
Um, I want to say maybe KRS One MC Shan.
Yep, you know that was the first one,
Okay. So
and there's been lots of battles.
there's two more. There's two
You
more, but
had
I
Kumo
don't
D
know
and
the other
L, but
two.
you had Kumo D and L, but nobody died. Nobody
Yeah.
was looked at. They still both kept their fan bases. It didn't switch up on them. But
And
yeah,
same
Ice
thing with
Cube,
Jay-Z and Nas. Nobody really
yeah,
died on
nobody
that.
died. Nobody
Yeah.
died. Ice Cube and NWA. Ice Cube killed them. It was never the
Yeah.
same. He said, "Yo, I
Yeah.
seen you in the video with Michelle A. looking like straight bozos. I saw it
Yeah.
coming. That's why I went solo. It was over, and they
Because
never
they
was
ended
the
up breaking
same.
up after that, a little while after that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what's the other one?
So we said Ice Cube, and so you got me messed up now. Maybe
Ice
it's
Cube,
only
NWA. The first one was KRS One, MC Shan. We
right.
had Ja Rule and 50
Ja Rule
Cent,
and 50. Okay, so there's
Kendrick
four.
and Drake, and there's
There's only
one.
four then.
Oh,
There's
there's
only
four.
four.
Okay.
And this is the biggest one ever. He got dissed at the
So
Grammys.
this is even worse
Hold
than
up,
Ja
the
Rule.
Grammys, the Oscars. He got dissed at the Oscars. Dude said, "Yo, this is the part where Kendrick comes out and calls Drake a pedophile." And then he laughed, the host, and then
And
he
the Super
said,
Bowl. Did you say the Super Bowl too?
"That
Did
was
you throw in the Super
crazy." The
Bowl?
whole 10 million people watch people go A minor. Like, come on, man. Drake looked different. He sound different. 'Cause I used to, I liked his music, some of it. I took it for
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was because I like music. I'm not just,
yeah,
if it's not hip hop, that's not important to me. I like
yeah, yeah,
good music. So I know what I make. I don't care what, and I usually like things that I don't make, that I'm not capable of doing, which is what I thought it was all about. People sharing their crafts and sharing their art. I like Future. I like Gunna. I like those dudes. I think they make great songs when I'm in the mood to hear that. It doesn't
yeah,
take away, doesn't take my hip hop pass away because I like you know, some of the young music is music. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm an artist. I'm not a thug. I'm not a street. I'm an artist. So I appreciate art.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking time out, man. Before we go,
Yeah,
any shout outs you want to do?
yeah, man. Salute my brothers, Funk Flex, Coogee Rap, Nick Price, Jesse West. I got Jesse West on some.
Okay.
I got a joint. He did a couple joints for me. So, and everybody out there, man, that's trying to keep this culture alive, man, and keep it going in the way that we want to see it go. So, I support all the old artists, everybody who comes out and puts out new projects, new material. I try to support it as much as I can. I listen to it, download it, purchase it, whatever, because that's the only way that it's going to resurface. Is we have to show the engine, the machine that's running things, that it's still a viable product. Which I hope one day there's adult contemporary hip hop separated from everything else, because it's not fair. That's not even
Yeah.
hip hop that these kids are making. It's not hip hop. So why should we have to compete with something that, well, it just doesn't make sense. But we'll
It's
see
been a
what
lot of
happens.
talk about that.
And hopefully it's coming. It's coming to fruition. I got some inside news. Like I said, with the Rock Nation signing G Rap, giving him this project is showing that they're trying to separate the categories and look at it in a different way. So hopefully that is coming forward, and you'll hear a lot more music from people that we want to hear from.
And hip hop doesn't have like the classic hip hop stations, like they got classic rock and stuff too.
Right. Because it wasn't treated that way, but it's still
Yeah.
young. Yeah. It's still
It
young.
is. It
It's
is.
young. That's why when people might find it strange to see people like me still rapping or still what they call rapping. I hate being called a rapper. I'm an artist. But
Yeah.
still being an artist, and it's like because there was no examples of this before us. We are the foundation. So who knew when we were all gonna stop? All those guys that used to call people old, they still rapping now. Now they, you know what I mean? Because they don't they can still do it. If you can still do
Yeah.
it, you can still do it. It's not boxing.
Yeah,
I could,
and I
you
hate
know,
when they say, like it's a young man's game. I feel like it
it's
might be a
it's
young
it,
man's game of getting on, but to stay on, it's got to be an old man's game.
right, exactly. And you know, one thing I want to just part with this. You know, they say it's you know like what you just said. It's a young man's game. Or, but the problem that people are having is the elder statesmen are still
Uh-huh.
talking like children sometimes on their songs. That's where we have a problem. You can't
Yeah.
be 50 talking about you slinging the block and
Yeah.
you spin with the hammer. And I don't want to hear that shit from a grown ass man because I know you're not doing it. And if you are doing it, you stupider than anyone could possibly be. If you're 50 years old, you're on the block. Something's wrong with you.
Smoother Hustle said the very same thing in the interview I did with him. Like, if you 50
Mm.
something years old still you rapping about things you did when you was 20 and stuff like that, yeah,
I
you
feel
ain't growing up
sad for
one
you.
bit.
Had no life, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what makes me know you were lying back then. Because if you're still talking about it now, it was a lie then. Because if it was
Yeah.
the truth, then you would have learned something or you'd have suffered something from it. Nobody does all of this shit that we say we do in records without some suffering attached to it.
Yeah.
Even your conscience gonna call. You shot a dude when he was 22, he died. Now you 51, your conscience is gonna come at you. God gonna come at you. Your soul gonna eat at you. And if we don't see that, then we know you was lying.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hey, I do the music reviews on Saturdays too, man. So if you ever
All
want to
right.
send an MP3, I'll send you over my
Yeah,
email
keep in
address.
touch, man. Yeah, send me
Yeah.
everything. Text me everything. You got my number. Text me everything. I'm gonna send you some stuff as soon as it starts dropping.
All right, we'll do, man. Enjoy the rest of your night, man.
You too, brother. Thanks for having me.
All
Peace.
right, peace. Peace. Well, there you have it. Nine, man. I've been trying to interview this cat for a hot minute, man. I was just talking to DV Alias Christ the other day when he was like, "Yo, man, make a wish list of cats you trying to interview." I was like, "Man, I'm trying to get in touch with Nine," and I just happened to come across the Twitter and find the email address and hit him up. Uh, Definitely interesting interview. Make sure y'all go back and check out the albums. From Nine. If y'all haven't heard them back in the days, you got Nine Lives, you got Cloud Nine, and you got Quinine, and then you got the King album by produced by Snow Goons. So a lot of y'all Snow Goons hip hop heads know what the deal is. You got Conway on there, you got Rusty Jooks, Chris Rivers, Cool G Rap, who he said is going to be executive producing, and he's on Cool G Rap's album. He said, who's signed to Rock Nation. That's very interesting, and of course, Smooth Hustle on that. But appreciate y'all tuning in for another episode of Live from Fayettenam. And I think tomorrow I got Afu Ra. He'll be coming in from the Czech Republic, so we'll be doing that about 12 p.m. Eastern time because he's like 6 hours ahead. And I just booked Mad from the Goats. If y'all don't know Mad from the Goats, he had the song. They had the song I'm not your typical American. Not your typical American. It's crazy. Like I didn't realize Nine was signed to the same label as Run DMC. Of course, you had Smooth Hustle over there. They said and Camp Low. That's probably why the Camp Low situation, uh, didn't go too well after a little while because Profile Records, you know, selling the label and then doing some janky stuff where they didn't sell the catalog, so they got sued, and then they couldn't do nothing because they were stuck on the label. That's the nature of the business where they need unions for the musicians, where unions can step in and help the artists get off of the label because it's not the artist's fault that a label is getting sued by another label because the label tried to do some shady business. You really shouldn't be held liable for the label doing shady business and whatnot that had nothing to completely do with you. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Another episode of Live for Vietnam. The one and only Paul Masson. I'll be doing music reviews this Saturday, probably like 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And I think it's going to be 4 p.m. Eastern time and whatnot. So, once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Peace, and I'm out.